You've got to give a little, take a little, and let your poor heart break a little. That's the story that's the glory of love.
Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome back to What Shall We Do Next. And today, first of all, I want to apologize for not uploading a video last week, since like Tuesday. I wasn't too good, I wasn't feeling well, and so I decided to take the rest of the week off just to chill out and try and get better. And while I was doing that, I decided to revisit the movie Orphan from 2009. I'm not sure if you guys remember this. The sequel/prequel came out only like last year, I think. I made a video on that, and in that video I made a lot of mistakes because I went back and watched my video because I remembered the movie differently than how I talked about it in the video, and I made a lot of mistakes in that video, so I kind of wanted to revisit Orphan and talk about it again, but this time with a little more accuracy. It had been a long time since I watched it. When I made the last video, I was talking about the upcoming prequel, and I got a lot of the story wrong. I was saying what I remembered, but it wasn't entirely correct. And there is going to be some spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen Orphan, definitely don't watch any further than this. One thing I do remember about Orphan is how insane the plot twist was. Like, that blew my friggin' mittens right off. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around that. It was so, like, it was such a weird movie leading up to the reveal about Esther's secret. But when that happened, it was kind of like, whoa, like, didn't see that one coming. And it was definitely, like, very memorable because I hadn't seen it in over 10 years probably, and I still remembered that. Like, I remembered it very well. I just remember how impressed I was by that plot twist. But also, Esther, the girl who played Esther, was actually, like, I think 11 years old or something like that in the movie, and her acting was insane. Like, I remember being genuinely scared of her. I even mentioned this in the last video too. There is one scene that, like, haunted me, and it was when she killed the nun, like Sister Abigail, on the bridge, just after she pushed Max into the roads, and then she's like telling Max, like, the little deaf girl, like, we're gonna scare her so bad she'll never come here to take me away. And Max is just, like, so innocent. She knows something's wrong, but she's too afraid to speak up, so she's just going along with everything that Esther's trying to get her to do. But yeah, I do remember that scene leaving a very nasty taste in my mouth. It was very, I don't know, it just seemed very haunting to me. There was something very, I guess, on another level of evil when you're killing a nun, of all people, you know what I mean? So it just left this really nasty taste in my mouth. And it also reminded me, because when I first watched this movie, it was around the time when 3 Guys, 1 Hammer, that horrible video was out, like, all over the internet, and I watched that. And again, it was the same thing. Like, what happens to that guy pretty much is what happens to this nun. So when I watched that scene, it just reminded me of that video. And I guess it, like, stuck with me ever since. And I just remember thinking, like, the way Esther looked too, like, she's wearing these very, I don't know, like, old-fashioned Slavic style dresses and, like, the little beret on her head. And she gets picked on in school for her clothes. But I remember just, like, the way she looked, her outfit, her accent, and the way she just, like, killed this nun, and the atmosphere too. It was, like, cold and snowy and dark, and it was just such a weird, like, I don't know, I remember it feeling very horrible to me. But that was, like, when I was genuinely scared of horror movies. Like, I always loved horror movies, but I don't get scared of them anymore. But back then I was, like, scared of everything, especially if I watched it alone. But I went back and watched it, and I really loved this movie. Like, it was so good that I actually watched it twice last week. I watched it twice, and then I watched Orphan 2, The First Kill. I watched that one twice as well, and it just made me want to talk about it a little bit, because I feel like it was a very underappreciated movie. I wasn't scared of it this time, and, like, I knew what was coming, I guess, so it wasn't like the surprise element wasn't there anymore. But Esther's acting, like, the girl who played Esther, I mean, Isabelle Fuhrman, her acting was insane. Like, there is some parts in that film when you forget that she's just a little girl. Like, you're actually like, I hate this bitch so much. Like, I want to, like, you start getting angry, how manipulative, and, like, oh my god, like, the things that she was doing to, like, Max and Daniel and the mom. I felt really bad for the mom, Vera Farmiga's character. Like, nobody believed her. Nobody, like, even the dad, her husband, like, the dad didn't believe her. And there's some scenes, like, the point when I wanted to, like, actually hit Esther was when she cut the flowers of, like, the flowers that had the ashes of her dead baby in there. And she knew that, like, she literally told Esther, like, as long as this plant keeps growing, then part of her is still alive. And then she just, like, Esther just cuts them down. Like, ooh, that got me so angry. But in a way, like, she's such an underrated villain in a horror movie. She's so sick and evil and twisted, especially, like, you realize later on, like, she's not actually a little girl. She's a 33-year-old woman pretending to be a little girl. I even got curious to see, like, what sickness she had after I watched the movie. I was like, what is it? Not necessarily about the way she looks, like the dwarfism or whatever sickness she has there. It was more like I wanted to know what was wrong with her brain, and I googled it, and I just searched what was wrong with Esther in Orphan, and it said she was just a psychopath. Like, she literally just had psychopathy. The manipulation, the inability to feel any kind of remorse or any kind of empathy, the way she would just, like, fly off the rails sometimes and just go, like, apeshit crazy, like that one scene in the stall when she's, like, slamming her fists and banging her feet and she's having a little tantrum, and screaming at the top of her lungs. Like, that, considering the actress herself was only very young during that filming, like, she was so incredibly talented at what she did there. Like, it was such a good performance, and not very often do I say that about, like, an actor these days. Like, I just think everyone's bad. But she was insanely good. I can see why they made a second one, but I just don't understand why they made it so long later. I guess because, like, people wanted to know more about the backstory on Esther. Where did she come from? We all know that she escaped from the Sarn Institute in Estonia, and that she's not actually a Russian girl. So I guess people, including myself, like, it was nice to find out a little more about where she came from and, like, her origins, I guess. But I believe they're making an Orphan 3 sometime soon. I'm not sure. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. It was really good. I haven't never done a review on Orphan, so I thought I would do that today. It was really good. It still lives up to today's standards. Even though there's no ghosts or paranormal or monsters or anything like that, it literally is just her. Like, she is the villain. And she keeps the movie interesting. Like, it never gets boring. And I love, like, just pretty much everything about it. Like, it was just a perfect movie. I was gonna talk about First Kill in this video too, but I feel like I'll do that in another video and, like, make a separate video for that, because I have a lot to say about Orphan First Kill. But for Orphan, I would say, yeah, definitely check it out if you haven't and you're watching this and I spoiled it for you already. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and see what you guys thought of it. Do you remember Orphan? Did you watch it? Did you enjoy it? Let me know in the comment section. I will see you in the next video. Peace out, and remember the most important thing: chase your dreams.